Well guys, we're back here in Whiteburg City, and today I'm going to be showing you what I've been building recently. That is the Elizabeth Bridge, Embankment and Victoria Walk, along with the Royal Pier. So shall we get started? Now I wanted to start down here, as this is one of my favourite areas in the city now. So this will lead off to a place called Ulverstoke. Let me show you it on the map. So currently we are down here, and this map you're seeing is the Walthamshire Master Plan 2022 to 2025. Yes, I know, I have lost my mind. Now currently we are building Whiteburg City up here, and there's a whole series on that, so please go check it out, called Building Whiteburg City. And this will lead to a place called Ulverstoke. This place will have beautiful Regency style buildings along it, along with a big crescent leading off in that direction. So the idea is it's kind of a suburb of the city, hence why there's buses going out this far, a paved road, big beautiful lampposts leading through here. So that's why I've gone for this aesthetic as we move out through here. So what we see as we move on up into the city is a large lake, but it's not actually a lake. As you can see here, it's two lobes of the river. I say lobes, I'm not entirely sure that's the correct terminology. So this is the River Avon that flows all the way down from Colesbrook through here, through Linford upon Avon, out here towards the sea. This little section here was an island, then they built a causeway across it to allow a bridge to be built between the two. And yes, I have built all of this pretty much by hand, I guess in game with a lot of edit. Ooh, we're starting to see my limited render distance of 32 chunks. Actually, 32 chunks is pretty damn far for render distance, especially with shaders on, so it may get a bit framey. What you can also see is the beginnings of the Royal Pier over there. So this is just a little detail you can do again when you're building a sort of river that has a nice little bay to it. So the idea here is these bits of leaves, seaweed, bits of sort of debris and foliage that grows within the water builds up across the edge. So this is tidal, it does go out and come back in. So this would rise up and fall down and just grow over time. And I think it's just a nice little quick detail to add. As we move on up the road, we are greeted with the first glimpses of the Elizabeth Bridge. But not just that, the city starts to come into view. Now I've got the time set to about 8:30 in the morning, so it's a nice early morning sun. And seeing the city come through the haze and shader distance issues, it's really quite a scene now. And we can see the bridge there going off in that direction. The reason I brought you out here is there's a small little island over here that I do not know what to do with. Now, during the video of building this place, I kind of said to myself, shall I add a monument or something along here? Because it's quite visible from the rest of the city. And I kind of decided against it in the end, but if you guys have an option for what I should build on this island below me here, then please leave it in the comments below. I will look through, and perhaps next time we can add it in the next episode of Building Whiteburg City. Anyway, before we get too sidetracked, shall we have a look at probably my favourite part of all of this, and that is the Elizabeth Bridge. So this is based on the Hammersmith Bridge in London, and originally the real bridge is green, though myself and Goblin mainly twisting my arm, yes you did, to use mangrove wood rather than any greens, because the greens in game were not the right colour, and I think the mangrove wood certainly lends itself well to be mixed in there with some granite, polished and unpolished, along with a bit of jungle on the top there to really set this place off. This is a beautiful colour and it fits the landscape very well. So a key little detail here is apparently we've got Mumbo Jumbo on the side with his beautiful moustache. I'm not really sure what he's doing there. No, it is the abutments and the little piers and pillars in the middle here. These took a lot longer than expected, but I wanted to build them so they looked properly engineered and sorted. So this is supporting the entire bridge from there. Then you've got the pillars and the pylons in the centre, which the cables for the suspension are leaned off, hence why it's suspended. So if we wander on up across it, we get to these massive counterweights. So these are spools of the cables wrapped around inside, weighted down to the ground, and these needed to be on solid ground. Originally the bridge was a bit short of where I was building the land to, so I had to build this big old abutment up to it. But again, in real life, that is really how you do things. I enjoy a good engineering experiment. So you're seeing lots of cars, trees, and all sorts of things around the place. They have all been built in some part by many builders on our server. This one here was built by Ring Sasquatch and is just a sort of workers lorry bringing in some wood forests. I believe this one here may have been built by Loading. Please correct me in the comments below if I am wrong. And this one was built by Kazakh, who has built this beautiful little bus. You can sit on here and go for little tours across Whiteburg City. Anyone else getting a bit more of a London feel now? This is really starting to come together. Huh. Look at that view over there. It's a shame that the render distance on here isn't far enough. But again, this is really quite far out. This bridge itself is about 200 blocks along. So you start to get an understanding of like how large of a scale this is to build. And we get one of my favorite views. I just love how this road bends off round there. It was a bit of a pain to build, but it really did come together really nicely in the end. I'm going to say really one more time. Right, should we make it to the other end of the bridge? So we get to the centre. We've got these nice little lights here. Let me show you what it looks like at night. This place really does still come to life. Now that's been made possible with the light blocks, which is part of creative building in 1.17 and above. And these just allow you to add lights. Oh, I've ruined that already. But you can right click them once you have them, so they go up all the way to 15 again. I think that's 11, 12. So you can make them as bright or as dim as you like. That one's off. So yeah, I've explained this in several videos before, and there's plenty of tutorials on how to get them and use them properly. So I will leave that there. But I think it just adds a nice little view to the entire landscape, and especially the bridge. The bridge at night, we've got roads going across it, we've got cars on there, and then we have these nice street lamps which just lend themselves well. Sorry, I only finished this off yesterday, so I'm like really quite excited to show it off still. Sorry, I'm just gushing over some random lamps. Right, should we take that today? But let's carry on walking. So, well, he says as he went into fly mode straight away. So we've made it down here to the other end of the bridge, and off down this way is Victoria Walk, and this whole structure is known as the Elizabeth Embankment. It's a big, grand civil engineering affair. Again, the idea is you've got split levels, so down here is really where the sort of the water level ends, and then you've got this other bit up here, so you can promenade along, look out across, and get some stunning views out there. Now, I ended this over here during the video for building, and I wanted to show you just this end bit here. So you can see there's almost, well, there is 4 different terraces along here for height. So we've got the main road level with a bit of pavement there. Then there was a height difference in how the road's coming up. So I was like, oh, we're going to have to end up with another section. And then below that is the rest of the sort of embankment walk on the top there, which I don't think we have that way. Oh, we do. It's that bit there. And then we have Victoria Walk at the bottom again, which does the beautiful thing of going underneath the bridge. This is one of the requisites I really wanted for this bridge, to have a path that you can walk underneath and feel like you're part of the infrastructure. Yes, I'm gushing over infrastructure again. So the idea of the rest of this place is that road goes off there towards the Royal Palace. That one goes off towards the rest of the Mall, and they both get intersected there. There is going to be the Wellington Monument here, nice big archway, and these are all going to be filled in with trees and become parklands, similar to what we've got over here. So I think for this bit of the tour, we're going to carry on wandering down this way and promenade amongst the trees while we breathe in some views. So I placed some bollards along here, and these are just polished blackstone walls with a button placed on top. Now, obviously you can't do that without welding it. So what you do is you place 2 blackstone walls on top of each other, you right click, left click, and you do set, I think it's polished blackstone button. Now, obviously that's in the wrong space, and you can go through and you can change, I think you can change the type of it. If you, yeah, you can do facing, and then you can go through there and choose all of them. So I'm going to say ceiling. No, it's facing, yes, it's facing the ceiling. Oh, so that's, now I want it facing the floor. There we go. So that is now on top of this bollard. So if you do slash facing the floor, and you end up with that like that, and you can place them along by using another command that I always like to use, which is the copy and paste. And then you've got, if you go down here, break a little hole and type in the command slash copy, and then you also, the next step is then to fill in that hole again, because you don't want a hole, is to then go to a random tool you have in your inventory, and you do slash BR for brush, clipboard -AO, and that will allow you to now paste this wherever you wish without damaging anything else around it. Smart, eh? So that is just one of those little tips for details that I have used extensively along here. So a few little other details along here include trees planted in the pavement with some iron railings around it to give it a nice metropolitan feel. We've got the buses going through here again, which just add to some beautiful vistas. That's very tasty, that view. Goblin was the one that placed a lot of these trees down along the edges here, and he did so in order to captivate and enhance the buildings behind it, which I really think he has done. So we've arrived now at the namesake for this bridge, embankment and area, and that is the statue of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, while building all of this, the unfortunate news was that Queen Elizabeth II had died, and we are now under the reign of King Charles III. Obviously, this world is set in 1912, but however, I wanted to put a nice fitting tribute to the Queen as just another little way of showing our respect. Obviously, it's not chronological, it's not part of the law. This could be any Queen Elizabeth, I mean, yes, the date's there. But I just wanted to add something here to be able to give the place a name. Originally, it was going to be the Victoria Embankment, but that's just kind of a rip-off of the real one. So that sits directly opposite this building here, looking up at the statue of Neptune in there at the Border Trade Office. And yeah, just adds a nice little centerpiece that you can come and stand over at this side at and just look up at while there's a car going by. Now, this area was designed by Sir Lancelot, and I really enjoy it. It's a lovely, peaceful little garden to wander around, look up all the domes and spires, and oh god, there's so many domes and spires, and just breathe it all in. You know, you'll be walking around here not knowing that you're, one, in the centre of a city, but two, you know, on the waterfront. It's a really nice feeling, and these are the sorts of vistas you should be aiming to build within your cities and towns, as they help diversify areas. And yes, it's all well and good building lots of housing, you know, high density stuff, but you do need to offset it with some greenery and some pleasant places to be and look around. Hence why we have these lovely little centres. So I'm now coming on down to sort of the, apparently I'm here as well, but I've grown half a metre. Oh god. I'm now coming on down to the sort of end point. We got some more trees down there we added as well, which give that section of the road a bit more density and a bit more depth. But we've arrived here at the taxi rank that awaits oncoming passengers from the ferry terminal down here. So we've got two steamers in today. We have the two Solent class steamers which arrived from San Alexandro earlier this morning. Should we wander on down and go have a look at the pier? So what I like quite nicely about this is it's all very walkable. You know, in modern day, yes, cars and that will be brought down here, but this one is meant to be, you know, you kind of wander out your buildings, wander up from the train station, which is just over behind that building there, and you come up here to buy your ticket. You go in here, yes sir, yeah. I'd like to a single return to San Alexandro. You get that. You then wander on through the gates, and you're now on the Royal Pier with exquisite views of the Elizabeth Bridge. And yes, it's really quite a nice cityscape. When you have a pier like this, you can walk on back and you can start to experience what ships going up and down the river look back at the city. These waterfront views are only really appreciated when you're actually on the water. So we've got a lot of hustle and bustle going on here. Down on this section is a slower, smaller jetty which moves up and down with the tide and allows you to bring in the smaller little boats such as this one here, built by loading. And further up we have lots of little stalls and stuff selling bits and bobs. I'm not sure what this one is here, bits of fruit and veg. We then make our way down to the centre, which has this nice little pavilion on it, designed to look a bit more oriental at the time. It's got an onion dome on top, but you come inside, nice little in-seated lighting up there as well, and you can come and sit down and just watch the world go by while you're waiting for your steamer to come by, and you get again some beautiful views as this whole thing is just lined with glass. Moving on back outside, we have, like I said, the two main steamers, but on this little section here, we've got all manner of things on offer. We've got some coffee being served up here. We have some baked potatoes being cooked up there. And also we can watch Biff and Ruddy, or Rudy, which is like Punch and Judy. So I think we should probably look on one of these steamers. I haven't updated this for over a year. I built these back when I built Wolverhampton originally, but they're quite sturdy ships. They've got a nice coloured deck, and they are seafaring. So these ones go across the main channel out towards the lands of United Lowlands and United Colonies, so they do the full measure of things, and there's a lot of space inside here to get a lot of people in. So we got this main lower deck section, which, you know, you can come in and you can sit down and you're one of probably best part of 100 you can probably fit in there. Great views out there. Or you can wander out onto the front deck and just breathe in the smell of things. Don't breathe in too deeply, there's some fumes about the place. But there's also an upper deck section, which when you walk through the back here, come up these stairs and you can come sit up on the top upper deck where the lifeboats are. But also over here, you can just sit out and watch the world go by while you're travelling off on the merry seas. This is all starting to bring the city life together. We've got modes of transportation, we've got infrastructure, and we have beautification. What more can you want from a city? Well guys, I think that's it for our little whistle-stop tour around the Elizabeth Embankment area of Whiteburg City. Join me again when we visit some more locations within the city and also within the server. So guys, remember, get inspired, get building, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.